All right, so we are recording the webinar in case anybody wants to watch it later or share it with a colleague. Again, thank you for joining, and I hope you have the interpretation up correctly. Everybody is muted today so that we cut down on background noise. If you do have a question for me or for Fred and Arlene at Strategos, please type it into the Q&A and we will address all questions at the end of the webinar. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about the Southern United States Trade Association, our programs, and how you, as an importer, can take part in our programs and meet the companies that we work with here in the US. So thank you for joining us today. All right, so who is SUSTA? We are a nonprofit trade association that receives the bulk of our funding from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So we're federally funded by the United States government. And our mission is to help small and medium-sized companies in the U.S., in the southern U.S., this region here, grow their exports. So, reach foreign buyers and be able to sell their products internationally. We are headquartered in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's where SUSTA's office is. But we cover such a large region that we work directly with each state has a Department of Agriculture. So we work directly with each Department of Agriculture in these southern states, and they help us implement our programs, meet companies in their states, and they're our partners as we fulfill our mission throughout the South. In addition to the states and the federal government, SUSTA also leans on other groups and organizations to help us support our southern companies. So the USDA, as you probably all know, we also have offices around the world. They're usually within US embassies, but it's the Foreign Agricultural Service, and they are in we have 94 offices in 75 countries around the world. So they are, members of the USDA and as well as locally employed staff who work on behalf of U.S. agriculture in those markets. So when we're working with U.S. companies who have questions about a particular country, we often are reaching out to those offices, those USDA offices around the world. In addition to that, SUSTA has consultants in these key markets from Africa to South America. And here with us today, of course, is our Carribean and Central America consultants, Brad and Arlene at Strategos. So they are the ones who I'm sure you work with quite often, who introduced you to our webinar and probably to SUSTA. And they help us implement events in markets. They help us, connect all of you importers with our SUSTA Southern companies. So they're a real key part of what we do and how we find success for our companies. Right. So what U.S. companies does SUSTA support? They have to be, I think I mentioned, headquartered in the southern U.S. So this region here from Texas all the way up to Virginia and all the way down to Florida and Puerto Rico. The applicant must be a small business. Some people think small and they think teeny tiny. Somebody may be cooking in their kitchen and making jam. For the US, the Small Business Administration, small can be up to 1,000 employees. So we are not working with the big companies. We're working with, small and medium size, but they're not teeny tiny. They are generally ready to export. And on that note, they have to have adequate resources and product supply, sufficient annual sales. We want to make sure that before a company gets on a plane and goes to, the Dominican Republic or, somewhere in the world, that they're really ready to export. And most importantly, they have to be motivated. These are all companies that are interested in growing internationally. That's why they've come to SUSTA for help and they're taking part in these programs. And then the products that they can promote using our programs, they have to have a brand. So we are not helping commodities advance in a certain country. I think about like Georgia pecans. If they wanted to export their products into Costa Rica, we're not helping pecans gain access in a country. We would help a specific company promote their brands in that country. So SUSTA is really here working with individual companies to help them grow individually in different foreign markets. And then the products that we work with have to be made from at least 50% US agriculture. So if you think of a spice blend, some of the spices might be imported, from probably from some of your countries, chilies and different things. But the bulk, at least 50% of the product has to come from the US. And then the product types we work with are vast. It's everything that you see in the grocery. In addition, it's also alcohol, it's pet products, wood products, horticulture. So it's a broad category or variety that we work with. And then the channels, the companies that we work with, they're supplying retail, of course, groceries and, things that are more consumer oriented, as well as hospitality and bulk products as well, ingredients and that kind of thing. So what kind of products are Southern? I put together some images that are very uniquely from our region. We have oysters from the Virginia, Maryland, Chesapeake area, a lot of craft beer from really all over the South, but people think of North Carolina as beer, sweet potatoes from all over the South. Again, North Carolina exports a lot of those. We have a lot of forestry products, southern yellow pine and other hardwoods. Citrus, with a lot of citrus coming out of Florida and Texas. We have some wonderful tropical plants that also come out of Florida and Puerto Rico. Blueberries from Mississippi and Alabama, pecans out of Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, crawfish coming from Louisiana. You think of Texas, you think of ranchers, so hamburgers and barbecue. We have a lot of rice farmers in Arkansas. And then, of course, in Tennessee and Kentucky, we have bourbon and whiskey. So it's a really diverse region with a lot of iconic food and beverage types of products. So I just thought it would be nice for you to see some of these iconic types of products that come from the southern region. These are the kinds of products that you might expect to get familiar with if you're working with SUSTA. Okay, so the programs that we offer to our southern US companies, first, we want to make sure they're ready to export. So we have a pretty robust export education program for them, teaching them export fundamentals. We have a 12-hour class for them. It's called Export Readiness Training. We also have a lot of webinars and an export helpline, and just a lot of materials to help them get ready to export. And as they have questions, they know they can come to us. And if we don't have the answer, we put them in touch with, the USDA offices around the world or other connections that we have. Then we have our global events program. This is where our companies can meet qualified importers such as yourselves at trade missions and trade shows. Our companies love our events. And then through the cost share program that we offer US companies, they can apply to get 50% reimbursement of certain international marketing expenses. So I'll go through these programs in a little more detail. For our global events, as I mentioned, these are where companies in the US can meet qualified foreign buyers. One of the event types that we offer are inbound trade missions. This is where we're bringing foreign importers into the US to meet one-on-one with our suppliers. For the US company, it's usually only $25 to attend. They don't have to travel internationally. So it's a really good opportunity that is not expensive or difficult for the US companies. So we see a lot of our newer companies, this is where they start. They start here and then they kind of, move on once they kind of, get their bearings in the export world. But I will say we also have a lot of our experienced exporters love these events as well. So for an example, we are bringing Caribbean buyers to the America's Food and Beverage Trade Show in Miami this September. We have 18 SUSTA companies that are registered, and Strategos helps manage these kinds of events, and they're the ones who are helping matchmake the importers and the US suppliers. So I'll let Frad talk a little bit more about that process.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Danielle. And for our participants, I would like to remind you that if you have any questions, the Q&A tool here is the one that you should use so that we can answer them once we finish the presentation. And as Danielle has mentioned, this region of the United States is very diversified. We have a large option of different food products that can either go to retail or to the food service sector. So with regards to what we do as Strategos for SOSTA is, as some of you guys already know, we maintain contact with all of you as importers. We try to understand what you need, what are you looking for, and then we also develop either outbounds or inbound trade missions. So as Danielle mentioned, now the last event that we have, the last inbound, which is bringing buyers to the US, specifically to this show, the America's Food and Beverage, it's going to happen in September. We are recruiting buyers for the Caribbean region this time. So I think we've already well ahead in the recruitment process. But this is important for you to know because next year we're also going to do this type of events. So besides the inbound trade missions, we also have the outbound trade missions. And for this year in particular, and this is just around the corner, we are going to visit Panama. So we're going to be in Panama from August 5th until the 9th, and we're going to have the trade mission, the business meetings are going to happen on August 8th. So we're bringing 6 US companies that have an interesting offer for the market. And if you are from Panama and you haven't registered yet, you still have time. So please check it out. Let us know. You can write your, in the chat, you can write a note to us, probably your name and your email, so that we can then send you the information and see if you see something that interests you and schedule a meeting with one of these companies coming to Panama. So this is something that we also try to do every year. Next year, we're going to do an outbound. We're going to visit another market in Central America or the Caribbean, where we bring the US companies to the market and schedule the meetings with you as the importers in that particular market. So please always be aware. We communicate this with enough time. We usually send an email with the information about the companies, the information about either the outbound or the inbound trade mission. So keep an eye for that because this is very interesting as you are able to meet with companies that could hopefully become business partners with you.
Thank you, Fred. Yes, our companies love these events. They love doing the outbound trade missions and visiting you in your country, meeting you there. In addition to the one-on-one meetings, we also take them on tours so that they can see the local groceries and, everything from the big retailers to the small retailers, and they can, get a better feel for, the market. So it's a good program to get small US businesses overseas. And we do see a lot of success following these events. It starts with these meetings, and then, of course, a lot of conversations and dialogue happens following the events, and then yes, we kind of track it, and we see a lot of success. So thank you to all of you who participate in them. And then the other kind of event that we host is we'll organize SUSTA pavilions at major trade shows around the world. So we will rent out anywhere from 5 to 20 booth spaces at trade shows and offer them to our companies. So they each have their own booth space, and then, they're meeting everybody at the trade show who walks by. So it's a different kind of event, naturally. But if you ever see a SUSTA pavilion at a trade show, I don't know if you go to UNTAD in Mexico, we're there every year. And yeah, just various ones really all around the world, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, Central and South America. So it's another way for our companies to connect with buyers. So just know if you see that SUSTA banner that you'll be finding Southern US companies there. Okay, so this Connects 365 is a way that you can get involved in a different way online. So this was something that came out of COVID, where a lot of our companies expressed interest in being able to showcase their company and their products on our website. So that, there was no travel and really no way to connect otherwise. So we created this online, it's not there's no e-commerce happening. It's all B2B, a way for you to just kind of browse and peruse our companies that have created pages on this website. So not everybody has created pages, but we're getting more and more of our companies. And then we're recruiting foreign buyers to the site, importers like yourselves. So we would love to get you on the Connects platform. And I'm going to just show it to you real quick. We'll hop out and out of the presentation and go to our website. So this is it. Once you have a login, you can come on and, look around. You can search for products. So if I look at popcorn, click search, it'll pull up companies that have popcorn, like this Virginia company, Jody's, and you can look at their products. And if you see something interesting, like any of these, you can click and see more info. You can add it to your favorites. And then if you want to contact them, you would just click there, and, you could write an introduction. It'll send, once you fill everything out and click send, it will send them an email with all your contact information. And hopefully, will be another way to start conversations with our companies. So, again, this is still kind of new, but we are really enjoying having this as something to offer you and our US companies to, meet and connect with one another without traveling. All right, let me get back to my presentation. Go. I don't know if it's full screen though. Hang on. There we go. Okay. Okay, so Connects 365, after the webinar, we'll be sending, Arlene with Strategos will be sending an email that has the little form to fill out to get you onto this platform if you're interested. It's free. We just have to verify, that you're a legitimate importer, and then you will have access. Another way that you can connect with our companies without any of the travel is through our trade leads. So if you are looking for a specific product, you can submit a trade lead to us that has, just the basic information about who you are and what you're looking for. So there's a form, again, that you would fill out, a trade lead form, and then you would submit it to us. And then companies in our database who have HS codes that match the products you're looking for, when they log into their account on our website, they see all the trade leads like this that have been submitted that have, products that match what the US company has. So it's, another way if you're really looking for something specific to be able to access and tap into SUSTA's pool of US exporters. And again, we will, after the webinar, we'll be sharing the trade lead form as well. Okay, and then SUSTA's final program that US companies can take part in is called 50% cost share. Through our cost share program, US companies can apply to receive 50% reimbursement of certain international marketing expenses. The reason that I think it's good for you to know about this is, let's say you do develop a relationship with a SUSTA company and you start importing their products. It's good, I think, for you to know that they can be applying to SUSTA for support to move those products and promote their brands in your country. So the kinds of things that they can apply for are it's a long list, but these are some of the highlights. So exhibiting at international trade shows and travel. So a SUSTA company can come exhibit at a trade show in Panama or in Costa Rica and get 50% reimbursement of their booth fee, their marketing materials, all kinds of things tied to their exhibition, as well as travel for two of their employees. So, let's say they're distributing in your country and you want them to come down for a trade show, keep that in mind, that they can, come down and get 50% reimbursement of the expense. For basically every country, they're going to have to change packaging and labels. That's something else that SUSTA can help with. They can apply for 50% reimbursement of, everything from the translation and the redesign of the packaging, as well as the actual production of their foreign packaging and labels. Advertising targeting a foreign market is also eligible. This can be everything from digital advertising, so Facebook and Google ads, influencers, all of that would be eligible. But same with more traditional ways of advertising. So think of billboards or wrapping a van, TV, print, radio, anything that's going to promote their US brands in the international market is eligible for 50% reimbursement. In-store sampling is another very popular way to get a US company, once they're being distributed in a market, they're going to want to support it and make sure that consumers are now, tasting it and getting familiar with these brands and products. So we can reimburse half of the cost of in-store sampling. So whatever the grocery charges, they're going to have to hire somebody to actually do the sampling. All of those expenses are eligible for our cost share program. And also translating their website. This is a Florida pasta sauce company that started distributing in Central America, and they now, using SUSTA's programs, they were able to get 50% reimbursement of translating their website into Spanish. So this is, the financial support that we offer to Southern companies, but I do think as importers, it's interesting so that you know how the US company can support the brands in your country. Because our programs are federally funded and and with cost share, we're reimbursing federal dollars. There are rules and regulations that come with the cost share program that the US company has to comply with. Every year we publish a manual so that they know exactly what they're getting into. But they first have to apply for these funds in advance. So before they do something with SUSTA or that they want to get reimbursed for, they have to apply for this program and say, we're already opening up 2025. So they might say, okay, in 2025, in the Dominican Republic, I want to advertise these products and I want to go to this trade show and do travel. And they let us know in advance what they're going to spend. And then, they complete the application. Then they go out and they do whatever it is, the advertising at the trade show, and then they have to submit their expense claims after that to get the 50% reimbursement. So I just wanted to explain that it is a process. And, if there's something that maybe you were working with a company on an ad campaign earlier this year. If they didn't already apply, it probably wouldn't be eligible. But anyway, just wanted you to get a little familiar with the process as well. Our US companies get a lot of instruction on it too. But yeah, it's a great way to continue to support the brands overseas. So hopefully this is a help for you all as well. Okay, and that is all I had for my presentation. Here is my contact information. If you want to reach out to me directly, my Spanish is not very good, but I do have Google Translate, and I also work with Frad and Arlene, who help me a great deal. But really, please email me with questions, and we will now open it up to Q&A. If anybody has questions that we can answer here on the webinar, I will see.
Yes, excuse me, Danielle. I see that Mr. Monroy has his hand up.
Okay.
So if you can introduce your question or comment into the Q&A tool, we can answer it.
Yes.
All right. So just to add to what Danielle just showed us, as you can see, we have a lot of resources that can be of great help to you as an importer and for the introduction of new products into your markets. I particularly really like the cost share program, and I think that we're not using it as much as we should. So we are following up with all of the companies that have participated in outbounds and inbound trade missions in the past, because we really want to know if you are already importing a product out of those initiatives. And if you are, then it would be great if you can talk to the supplier and have them start using the cost share program so that you can do promotional activities in your markets. And since COVID, the number of ways that you can use this program for has expanded. So now you can do, as Danielle mentioned, digital marketing, social media, contracting influencers to promote the brands, but we can also go traditional promotional activities, tastings in supermarkets, in stores, and all of that. So this is a very interesting tool because it provides 50% of the budget. The remaining 50% then will depend on how you negotiate with the company. We've seen many strategies implemented depending on the company, on the supplier, how they will coordinate with you on how the remaining 50% will be covered. And also, the trade lead system is very important. You don't have to wait for an event. You don't have to wait for any activity. If you need something, please reach out to us, and we can, with the help of the SUSTA team, we can help identify companies in the SUSTA region that would be, in a way, able to supply that product. The 365 Connects, it's an amazing tool, but we need you to decide to come into it because it works two ways. So the US supplier located in the SUSTA region can also come inside and see which of the importers in the region have registered, and they can initiate a direct contact with you. But that could go the other way too. You can also reach out to them directly, and it creates also another channel for you to have options for new products to bring into the market. So as you can see, we try to bring a lot of value to all of you. So I know that everybody in this industry is always very busy. The agendas are complicated. The competition are it's becoming more and more intense. But please always keep us in mind whenever you need something. I see that somebody else has their uh, okay, so we have a couple of questions here. Uh, from Saul Santa Maria. So Saul said that if we have Mexican cheese style in loaf of 5 pounds that can be imported to Panama, Saul, we can definitely help you identify. In fact, Saul, we got two companies participating in the outbound trade mission going to Panama, arriving on August 6th and having the business meetings on August 8th. So um, those companies can definitely offer you that. So if you want, please send us write your email address and your company, or just your email address if you want, and we can definitely send you the information for the for the trade mission and all the companies coming in, so that you can review them and then decide if you want to come in and have a meeting with these companies that will be in Panama in a few days. Okay, so our good friend Latoya Haywood, hello, thank you for being with us today. How can I gain access to Connect's 365 platform to view potential buyers? We are going to send you all the information that you need so you can register, and we will help you get in it if you have any issues. It's a very user-friendly platform, and you will be able to create your profile there and then be able also to access the US companies already registered. All right. Vilma. Okay. So Vilma Calderon. Hello, Vilma. Yes, we do have dairy products. What we're going to do, Vilma, is that we're going to send you a follow-up email so that you can provide us with more details of the type of dairy products that you need, so that we can then contact the companies in the SUSTA region that can provide the specific products. Okay. Okay, so we have from Salvatore Russo. It's been a long time, my friend. Good to hear from you. We're going to send you the information on how you can register. It's not through the website. No, you will need a special access that we're going to grant to you. So we'll definitely follow up with you so that you can register on 365. Okay, so Saul, excellent. If you'll be there, then you will be able to meet those companies. Welfare. Okay, regarding the cost share, if you want, we are going to share with you the manual so that you are familiar with how it works. And as Danielle mentioned, we do have a lot of regulations because we're working with government money. So because of that, you really need to follow the process. At the end of the day, the what I can tell you now is that it's based on a reimbursement. So once the project is done and everything is paid for, then the US supplier will submit all the paperwork. You really need all the evidence, the invoices, pictures, everything that prove that the activity took place. And after that, they will get a reimbursement. Now, who will pay for everything? Who will pay for the 100%? Who will pay for the if the supplier is going to take care of that 50% until they get reimbursed by the government, that will depend on the company and how you negotiate with the company. As you know, these companies are also eager to get their brands developed. So some of them are willing to be more supportive. So that depends a lot on the company, on the strategy, and that has to be a negotiation that you will do with them. But we're going to share the information with you, the manual, so that you know how it works, but it's based on reimbursement.
Yep. And just to add to that, SUSTA can only ever work with the US supplier. So they're the ones that apply to us and they're the ones that we reimburse. And then, as Frad said, whatever you negotiate with them is, between you, but we can only, the US company has to apply and that's who we reimburse. And then, yeah, just to echo the regulations, there are things like, let's say it's an in-store promotion, sampling, that kind of thing, and we need to see photos of the promotion. We also need to see that there's a Made in USA, sign somewhere in the display. We need to see what products are being promoted and make sure that the company put all those products in their cost share application. So it's things like that. And again, you won't be applying, but the US company that you're working with needs to really pay attention to those details. So I just think it's good in case you're the ones managing the promotions, just to know that there are regulations and things that need to happen.
Yes. And okay, and yes, Walter, what we're going also to do, well, we send you the manual for the cost share program, and we're going to send you, as Danielle mentioned, once we finish, everybody's going to receive the trade lead form. So the trade lead form is going to help us get that data from you and be more specific and be able to be in a better position to identify what you actually want. So if you want popcorn, then you fill out the form and we'll do the trade lead and we'll identify the companies that are providing popcorn from the SUSTA region so that they can get them and make the connection with you. Okay, another one from Mario. All right, Mario, yes, we'll send you you will receive the same, the trade lead form. Let us know what specific dairy products you need, and we'll identify the companies. Okay, Vilma, we'll send you the information for 365. Okay, so I think there's two questions regarding if you want to participate in the Miami Expo. Unfortunately, we've already filled out all the spots that we have that SOSTA is sponsoring. So when we sponsor a buyer, we usually cover the airfare and the hotel. And then we also do meetings. We schedule meetings, we do the retail tour, and usually the buyer only takes care of local transportation like taxi from their home to the airport home, transportation from the airport in Miami to their hotel, and their meals. That's it. So we take care of entry to registering you in the show. If the inbound is connected to a show, sometimes they are not connected to a show. If it's connected to a show, we take care of that. We buy your airline ticket and we pay for your hotel. So at this point now, we've already we receive even more people than the spots that we have, but we know that you guys are interested. So as I mentioned earlier, keep an eye out on those emails when we send them out, because we usually have limited spaces. Because if you saw at the beginning of her presentation, Danielle explained that they work all over the world. So, we're bringing buyers from the Caribbean or Central America, but another person is bringing buyers from Mexico, another person is bringing buyers from South America, Europe, Asia, Africa. So at the end of the day, it's a lot of buyers and the spaces are distributed among the region. So it's kind of like a first come, first serve strategy. So keep an eye out on that. Now, in a nutshell, unfortunately, we cannot assist you this time with getting discounts on the expo in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So Michelle, you're also going to receive the trade lead form. Okay, Alberto, so we're going to send you the trade lead form, fill it out, let us know what you want, and we'll work on that. Okay, so I didn't see these comments from Jesse in Estrosa. So Jesse is from FAS office in the U.S. Embassy. So they cover El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala. So Jesse says that she can register anyone who wants to participate in the Miami show from El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala for free. So she put her email there. I don't know if anybody can see it. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy it.
I just put it in the
excellent.
chat.
It's already in the chat. Thank you, Danielle. So with that, send an email. If you are stationed in El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, please talk to Jesse to see what to get that free registration at the expo.
Great. Thank you, Jesse.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you very much for your comments and your questions, and the interaction has been great. I'm very happy because it shows that this event that we put together was needed. And thank you for giving us your time today. And again, if you need anything, please let us know. You will be receiving all the information that I mentioned from Arlene Moises' email address. I'm going to be copied there too. So if you need anything, please let us know. I'm going to ask Arlene to include my cell phone number. We also have a cell phone number for the office, and our emails are going to be there. So again, I know that you guys are always very busy, but try to take advantage of all the programs that we have for you here because they're definitely worth it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you, Fred and Arlene and Elmer and Gladys, our interpreters, for making today possible. We really appreciate it. And we hope to meet all of you here in the U.S. or in your countries and, help facilitate trade and get Southern food around the world. So thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Thanks again. And thanks to our translators today and Arlene for also putting a lot of the program together. Danielle, thank you very much for your time and that wonderful presentation. And last but not least, to all of you, the importers, we're doing this for you. So please, again, take advantage of us. We are definitely here to help you and we want your business to grow. And what a better way to do it with good quality products from the southern part of the United States.
Great. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.